I can provide you the Republicans that are striking down a child tax. Excuse you. You just asked me a question. Excuse you. You just asked me a question. I'm answering it to the fullest. That was excuse you. Are you going to let me respond? Excuse you, sir. Excuse you. No, excuse you. You didn't read what you fucking Googled. You goddamn moron. You didn't read what you fucking Googled. Every fucking conservative acts like this fucking shit every time they're on my fucking stuff.
Later, when you watch your precious and innocent
r/child free literal psychopaths there? No, what is that?
While today is a monumental win for the unborn, I would like to note that being pro-life is about more than saving a child's life. It's a commitment to supporting our mothers. As policymakers, we must work together to bring forward legislation that helps families build nurturing home environments where children thrive and build healthy and happy lives. In today's ruling, the Supreme Court made the right decision by moving this debate to where it belongs, in the hands of the people's representatives. And while we know that much work lies ahead, let us take this moment and honor this history that we are witnessing in our own moment in time. Years from now, we will tell our children and grandchildren about the day when the United States finally and firmly stood for life. Thank you.
You know these people are so fucking smarmy? Oh, yeah.
And I yield to my new member, Representative Mayra Flores from Texas.
Hallelujah. I woke up this morning praying for this, and I never thought that it would happen. This was a big win, not only for South Texas, because we are pro-life, somos pro vida, but it's also a big win for our country. If we want to see real change in bringing crime down...
I guarantee that the number of abortions that these people on the stage have had, or had their partner that had, one is greater than 0. 100%, yeah. That's how, like, rich or affluent people work. You're telling me if this chick's daughter gets pregnant with some random dude that they're gonna have the kid? I got car insurance to sell you. Like, f*** off.
We need to raise a generation to respect life in the womb. Esta victoria es para nuestra comunidad hispana. Y si tanto orgullo tenemos de nuestra gente, debemos de defender la vida. Si tanto orgullo tenemos de nuestra cultura, de nuestros valores, de nuestras raíces, debemos de defender nuestra gente. Porque la vida no tiene precio.
Wait, haven't Republicans said like multiple times that you should only speak English if you're doing like these public statements? Where are those people now? The irrelevant and unintentional moment of truth, abortion is merely birth control after the fact. You trolling?
Thank you so much. And now, Whip Steve Scalise.
Republicans don't actually say that though? Are you serious? Wait, Slick Dealer, you're willing to bet me right now I can't find a Republican saying that you shouldn't speak English exclusively when you're having a public political conversation? That I can't find a Republican shitting on people for speaking Spanish on the stage? You don't think I can find that? This lady immigrated here, then ran ads saying she wants to limit immigration. What are you translating? Is that what that was? Or are you just saying that that's what she's known for? No, you literally meant that when you appealed to any one of these people on the stage having a daughter get pregnant by some random dude. Just get in Discord, man. People have been asking for it. I can't tell if you're deranged or not. Just get in Discord, dude. You have 2 minutes, you know the rules.
Que siempre ha defendido la vida también. Es un orgullo para mí presentarlo, porque necesitamos más personas como él, que entiende el valor no solamente de nuestra comunidad aquí en este país.
You have 2 minutes. You know the rules, dumb f***. You've been in here long enough, Slick Dealer. I've read your name a million times. I know you've been in here for a while. Following since June 9th, account created in May 19th, 2020. Your first message in here was not too long ago. Yeah, go ahead. Get in here, man.
Pero que defiende la vida
You have 2 minutes to get inside of Discord.
de nuestra comunidad hispana, que para mí es muy valiosa. Siempre tendré orgullo de donde soy, de quién soy,
Dumb f***. Yeah, you keep going. Go ahead.
familia.
There's
Gracias
the Discord.
por siempre defender la vida de nuestra
Are
comunidad.
you gonna be a coward? Are you gonna back the fuck out? You gonna be a fucking pussy? Just join the goddamn Discord, man. It ain't tough.
Thank you for always defending the life of the unborn.
What an historic day this is.
Didn't I fucking just tell you I was logging in, Sweaty? I don't read every one of your messages, man. Why the fuck would I read every one of your messages?
And it's not just a victory for life. It's a victory for millions of people who have been part of this pro-life movement for decades, who have gone to state legislatures, who have gotten involved in the political...
Trump's English-only campaign. What is this? It was over a year ago the nationally televised Donald Trump Jeb Bush for speaking another language on the campaign trail. This is a country, Trump said, standing at the lectern next to Bush, where we speak English, not Spanish. Well, there you go. There you go. It's tough. It's
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Gay!
Oh God. If you go to jail, can you still be a Republican? Legally, yes. But morally, yes. Because they talk about how they care about criminals. They give a fuck. They give a fuck, bro. What room? Pick a room. Don't care. I'll drag you in. Pick a room. I will drag you in. What is your name on Discord? I have to know what your name is. We speak English here, damn it. Yeah. If hell is real and I happen to go there, this is the person I expect at reception. Finally, some good fucking... No, bro, no. Discord or ban, yay. Yeah. The crowd at the Ronald Reagan President Library applauded ever since Trump stayed true to his word. Former advisor, and he believes that he doesn't have to. He believes he's... I'm stuck in rules waiting for a verification email. What? No, you should just have to respond. You should just click you should just click the thumbs up. You just react with the thumbs up in rules to the mod bot, and then it should let you in the server. That's it. Let's get in waiting room. Is this you, J Mac? That's you? Is this you? Yeah, I'm assuming it's you. Hello. Okay. Hello. What's going on, dude? What are we doing? Stop changing rooms. Are you there? Hello?
There we go. We here?
Yeah.
You can hear?
Yeah, I can hear.
All right. So what are you sweating about? What are you sweating me here for?
Just you came into my... What are you doing, man?
Sorry about that. I'm not sure. It dropped me out of there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I understand I have a shitty mic, so you have to.
I don't really care too much about the mic. I care about the moving of rooms. Okay, so the problem is, as soon as we started talking about abortion, you seem to be freaking out on everyone, including me, inside of the chat. That was the main problem. Two.
Freaking out. I mean,
Yes,
that's one way to
freaking
put it. I guess, responding in a rational, calm, ordinary manner is perceived as freaking out here. That's a little unusual.
Okay, do you really need me to bring up your logs?
Yeah, go right ahead. I mean,
Okay.
you'll see the first several messages I posted in here this morning were pretty calm, making fun of some other silly comments in here, posting links, responding explicitly to your comments. I'm not sure what you're sweating it for.
Okay, sure. Let me take a look at some of your logs. At the start of the day. Jesus, you posted a lot today.
I type fast.
Yeah. So you started with, sorry, Ahrelevant, this is a bogus narrative you are repeating about pro-life people allegedly not supporting life after birth.
Yeah. I mean,
What was I
you
supporting?
guys
Hold
on
on.
the
What was I
left,
supporting?
in
Yeah,
your
what was it?
zeal to be pro-abortion, have to attribute these kind of like malign motivations to your opponents and pretend that they just don't care.
Are you going to
about
let me
babies after
respond?
they're
Are you going to let me ask my question?
born. Fire away.
Okay. In what way do Republicans support life after birth?
Is that a serious question?
Yes. In what way do Republicans support life after birth?
We're not throwing them in the trash like you pro-abortionists want to do.
So I'll ask again, because it's a very witty way for you to just throw whataboutism out there. In what way do Republicans support life after birth?
We let children be born and we care for them. There you go.
How do you care for them?
We raise them.
You raise, so hold on. What you're saying to me is if I have a kid, you're going to raise my kid because you're a Republican.
Why am I going to raise your kid?
Okay, so who is the Republic? Okay, what is the Republicans doing? Can you give me one way that Republicans are supporting life after birth?
Yeah, we pay taxes. We pass laws protecting human lives.
What do you mean you pay taxes? What is that? How does paying taxes support kids? Life after birth.
They pay for social services.
So you're advocating. You're advocating
programs,
so,
schools.
Great. So you're advocating. Excuse you. Excuse you. You're going off the hand. For a very reasonable man, you seem to be going off the handle. Sure, they don't support social programs such as child tax credits. They don't support. No, you do not. Hold up. Can you provide me the leading Republican right now that is supporting a child tax credit? I can provide you the Republicans that are striking down a child tax. Excuse you. You just asked me a question. Excuse you. You just asked me a question. I'm answering it to the fullest. I have multiple different Republicans recently striking down a child tax credit that Joe Biden has proposed. I have multiple different Republicans striking down the idea of maternity leave for women. I've all of those bits of evidence to be able to.
Tax credit? Which one?
Joe Biden.
Part of the American Rescue Plan?
Yeah, yes, as well as a part of the the industrial, the $1 trillion plan that Joe Biden was putting forward to be able to support.
The Republicans who are not attempting to write out of the law existing child tax credits, either at the federal level or at the state level, that just doesn't count, right? You're gonna piss and moan about being opposed rightly to the American Rescue Plan which actually didn't do very much for very many people at all anyway, because a small component of that was an additional child tax credit, and that is your example of Republicans not caring
Can you
about kids
provide?
after birth?
So
You're
I
full of
so
shit,
no,
Riley.
I'm not.
You're full
Can
of
you
shit.
Can you provide? I'll go back to question
No,
one then.
you
Can
provide
you?
the basis for
No.
your
Can you
allegation.
provide
You
me?
demonstrate
Can you
how we don't
provide me?
support children after
Yeah.
birth.
The point is that you came in here and you disagreed with
respect
the
your
statement that I
example.
made. No, that's not. So the onus of it. Do you understand how the
bad
onus of
narrative.
proof works, right?
You support
You
your narrative.
hold on. For a very calm man, you seem to be constantly jittery.
No.
I don't know
No,
if you
because
maybe
I'm
you
not
need
gonna
to.
tolerate
Do you need
your
to? Okay,
bullshit
go
here
ahead.
where you pick on
Keep
these,
going.
like one element of the American Rescue Plan and then ignore 25 years of support, and not only support but passing child tax credits.
Are you done?
You're
Are
just
you
going to
done?
ignore that.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, why are you ignoring that? Please explain that.
Are you done?
Please explain that.
Okay, so the reason why I stated that the Republicans are not doing
Okay, so the
anything.
reason that you're
Okay,
going
go
to
ahead. No, keep
ignore
going.
that is
I'm
because
sorry I
of
interrupted you
your
with my
narrative.
response. Are you done?
Are you going to explain why you are ignoring 25 years of support in passing these child tax credits?
Are you done?
I'm done with that question. I'll see if you answer it though.
Okay, so the reason
Okay.
why I. Okay, so you're not done. All right, go ahead.
I'm just waiting for your answer.
Are you going to let me speak?
If you're going to answer the question, yeah.
Okay, so the reason why I I made the statement that I did about Republicans not supporting children after birth is because Republicans have not pushed for any strong social welfare programs, talking about child tax credits, talking about maternity leave, talking about anything that would actually support children after they are born. They have not done that. And in fact, when Democrats have tried to push any of these things, they've struck them down or not supported them. So I feel confident in the statement, as well as I believe it is empirically true, that Republicans do not support life after birth at all. They try to say they have the semblance, the veil of caring about kids when they're being born and after birth, but they have no semblance of care for it. They don't support any policy. They don't support any of that. Your example of them support their policy support is not striking down active policy, which can simply be brushed away by the fact of something called the political play, which is they can only focus on a certain amount of things. They're not going to focus on everything all at once. Excuse you. Excuse you. Excuse you. Excuse you. I wasn't done. Excuse you. I was not done. Okay, so they can only focus on a couple of things. So right now, what is prominently available or prominently on their plate is right now the Don't Say Gay bill. You have trans people inside of athletics predominantly right now. The hot topic is swimming. And then we also have this on abortion. These are three really big issues that Republicans are currently focusing on. So there you go. Would you like to respond to any of what I just said?
Okay, I am. See, the bullshit narrative that you're pushing right now is that Republicans don't support any of this stuff because they don't vote the way you insist that they should vote. And your line is an arbitrary bullshit line. For example, when you have senators like Joni Ernst and Mike Lee who proposed the Cradle Act in Congress for paid maternity leave, right? For paid leave benefits to raise children, you just ignore that. You ignore it because you're ignorant. And you rely on a completely ideological basis to create these fake narratives. That's all it is. Furthermore, Republicans have passed and continue to support the expansion of child tax credits. But again, you will lie about that. You will lie either out of omission or out of ignorance. Now that has been proven twice in two explicit examples. So don't give me this bullshit that Republicans don't support any of these. No, I'm not done.
Okay, keep going.
Don't present this bullshit that Republicans don't support any effort to care for children after they're born. Third, and further, that you can support, for example, through community social services that don't require government intervention. And so you completely forget about the Republicans' very strong support for religious organizations and other community-based organizations, right, with their volunteer contributions to these organizations to support women. You forget about the pregnancy crisis centers that are filled with Republicans and conservatives volunteering their time to care for women and their newborn children in their neighborhood. So you are absolutely foolish. You ignore it either out of either out of intentional ignorance or out of spiteful omission. And either way, it's bad faith.
Are you done?
Now deal with that.
Are you done?
Are you finished?
Are you gonna calm down?
Hey, I'm calm. I'm calm, buddy.
Really?
I'm raising my voice the same way that you're raising your voice. So don't pretend that somehow I am acting
No, go ahead. Keep going.
surprisingly different from yourself.
Keep going.
So let's go. Deal with the facts.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay,
Deal with
great.
The facts.
Okay, so let's start with this. If Republicans love helping children so much, why didn't they
Stop.
do any? Okay,
Stop.
okay,
Stop.
so you're not done.
Stop.
So
I'm
keep
not
going.
done.
So
I'm
go
not
ahead.
done.
So
Stop.
go ahead. Then just keep
So
going.
you're not going
Jesus,
to
you're
deal
an
with-
incredibly
you're not
calm and
gonna deal
rational
with
person that wants a
Republican
two-way
expansion of
conversation
child
here.
tax
But
credits.
go ahead.
You're not
keep
going
going.
to deal with Republican proposals for paid leave for parents. You're not going to deal with Republicans and conservatives and being active in their communities through social and community organizations as well as religious organizations to support women and their newborn children. You're not going to deal with any one of those three. Instead, you're going to launch into yet another fake narrative. You're going to present yet another false pretense about the motivations of Republicans, and all for what? For what? For what? What are you standing up here for? Unlimited abortion. That's what you're going to do. You're going to impugn the people you disagree with so that you can stand on top of an unjustifiable standard of unlimited abortion.
Are you going to calm down and let me respond to anything that
I'm
you've said?
calm.
So
I'm
you're
calm.
going
I'm
to
just-
actually
I'm holding
okay,
you
so
to
no,
account.
just go ahead and keep going.
Yes, I'm holding you to account
Good,
to
keep
actually
going.
address the points I raised
You're
rather than
being
launch into
very
another
calm and rational,
fake
having this
narrative.
two-way conversation. Just keep going. I'm sure you love the,
Hey,
the
until
sound
you
of your
actually
own
address
voice.
the points that are raised and not do your
Go
usual
off. Slay,
tippy-toe
kid.
dance around nonsense, I'm going to hold you to account. So I've given you 3 areas. Are you going to address any one of those 3? Or are you going to launch into yet another pretend narrative?
No, I'm going to explain to you the process
You're going to
that I was going
explain
to.
again why
Okay,
you're,
go ahead.
why you're
Keep
faking
going.
a narrative.
Keep going, dude.
Yeah,
Just keep
I'm
going.
holding you to
No,
account.
keep going.
Deal with the pound.
Just
Deal
keep
with
it
the
up.
points. I can repeat the points if you missed
Okay.
them.
So are you gonna let me? Are you gonna let me speak?
You can speak if you are going to actually address the points made.
I
Because
am
I've
going
addressed
to
your
address
point.
the
I
original
have
point that
addressed
we
your point.
came in here for. You asked me with what basis am I using to identify that the Republican Party is not doing anything for children after birth?
And I've given you 3 examples of where they are. And
No,
are
you
going to
didn't,
address those or
because none of
continue
those were
ignoring them?
actually passed. You didn't give me any legislation that was passed. You gave me a legislation that was.
wait,
Excuse
wait,
you.
okay,
excuse
Billy, I'm
you.
sorry.
Are you
I'm
going to let
sorry,
me
Billy.
respond?
I misunderstood.
Excuse
No,
you,
no, no,
sir.
hey, I'm
excuse you.
holding
Excuse
myself to
you.
account now. I
Excuse you.
misunderstood.
Excuse you.
You now
No,
want to
excuse you.
argue
I
that
have.
Republicans
You
only
just got done
demonstrate
talking
their
for like 6
commitment
minutes.
when
Excuse
laws are
you.
passed.
I cannot have a
I'm sorry, I
conversation
didn't
like this.
recognize the
We
standards
cannot
that
have
you
a
were
back and
using.
forth like this.
I
You
got you.
understand that what is happening right now, right? You are constantly ranting.
understand
Do you
what's
know how
happening.
long you've been talking over me right now? Just let me make a point before you go off and you get upset and you try and make your own point 9,000 times longer than I'm able to speak, okay? Don't get too upset. I promise you'll have your turn to speak. Okay, so my whole point is addressing that Republicans are not doing anything and me asking you anything that Republicans have done for children after birth is that I don't believe they have passed any significant legislation at all to the effect of helping any kid for life after birth. This has not happened. Your example that you gave me was something that you only quoted 2 senators proposing that didn't even pass. There was no actual passing of it. It didn't meet bar. There was no, even when the Republicans had control, when Republicans had control over the Senate and the House, there was no passing of legislation. The legislation that you're proposing was so ubiquitously loved amongst the Republican Party. We saw none of it. We see Democrats actively trying right now to get these legislations passed, to make sure that children have a better environment to grow up in after birth. But we see constantly Republicans trying to strike this down. I don't know how you could say in good faith that Republicans are even comparable to Democrats when it comes to life after birth care.
That's because it's bullshit to suggest that the only way to demonstrate a commitment to life after birth is to actually pass laws, okay? Because we all know, for example, The new Green Deal. Are we really going to say that the Democrats care nothing about the environment because they couldn't get the new Green Deal passed? Of course not. That's a stupid argument. Even even with the broad support for the new Green Deal, that it couldn't get passed does not mean that those Democrats are not actually committed to it. That's stupid reasoning. You get that. Meanwhile, we don't have Republicans trying to overturn and repeal existing laws. We do have Republicans, though, proposing and attempting to enact new laws. In addition to the Cradle Act, there was also the New Parents Act from Marco Rubio and Mitt Romney. Okay? We also have an expansion of FEMLA benefits to include small businesses that were not included. Right? So this nonsense that, oh, well, hey, now really the standard isn't just so much that Republicans propose new legislation.
No, that was never the standard.
But that the new
You're
standard
mistaken.
They haven't actually
Well,
passed
you must.
anything,
So this is
right?
why perhaps your lack of ability to look at this in a calm fashion is
I'm looking at it in a
causing
calm
you.
fashion.
Excuse me. Your lack of ability to look at this in a calm fashion is maybe obscuring your ability to understand my argument. Ever since the beginning, what was the very first question I asked you? What
Your
did the
argument is that
Republican
they don't
Party?
support
Excuse you.
anything,
Excuse you.
and I've demonstrated
excuse
that's
you.
bullshit.
Excuse you. What has the Republican Party done for life after birth? Not what have they proposed, because we can propose whatever we want. We could talk about the Green New Deal and how much of that was bullshit, just trying to virtue signal, so that way people could see how bad the environmental problems were and how unrealistic half of it was until it got revised and revised and revised and revised. We could talk about that endlessly if we'd like. But that's separate. We're talking about what they tangibly have passed, and you have yet to provide any grounded example. You gave some example of people showing up to.
I believe that passing laws is necessary to demonstrate a commitment. We
That
all
is
understand
ridiculous.
what the political process is.
No, that is
not every bill, good intentioned or not, will actually pass, and that it fails to pass doesn't actually undermine the motivations or the intent of Republicans generally.
So what you're
I think
saying to
what
me,
you're really trying to say is that elected Republicans have not successfully passed broad expansions of either child tax credits or paid parental leave, right, which would demonstrate to you a commitment to life after birth. Meanwhile, Republicans and conservatives across the country, tens of millions of them, contribute to their local social and community organizations, religious organizations. They volunteer their time. Right?
That's of no consequence. That's of no consequence to me.
Centers. So when you say Republicans, what you're really saying is that there is a small number of elected Republicans that haven't done things that you think are necessary to demonstrate a commitment. Meanwhile, tens of millions of Republicans are actually doing something on the ground.
Can I interject with this?
Protecting life after birth.
Because
but
there
you
are.
Ignore that.
Can
you
I
ignore that because you're scoring a cheap.
You made like
nine.
You're trying yourself at that. I can guarantee you. So when you're talking and you're appealing to this nebulous idea of a bunch of Republicans actively doing charity work, I can do all the same with leftists. I could talk about Republicans that are actively trying to. Excuse you. I let you speak. Excuse you. All right, so we could talk. Excuse you. It's amazing that you keep doing this and you think that it's decent for you.
I'm holding your points to
excuse you. Are you going to keep getting upset and interrupting me? Is this what's going to happen? Is this going to be the?
Interrupt you.
Then it's a perfectly rational and reasonable thing for people to constantly interrupt another individual when they're having a calm, reasonable conversation.
Happens all the time
in
in these forums. Don't act all surprised.
It's absolutely not. You could pull from multiple conversations that I've had over multiple times. This kind of a back and forth is not reasonable. Many people there was a culture of people muting under circumstances like this. I've avoided muting you because I do not like muting the people that I'm talking to. I think if it gets to a point of muting, you should just end the conversation altogether. But there's been multiple people advocating for muting as a result of that.
Real quick, Relly. My apologies then. You're absolutely right. I have been unreasonable in interrupting you and not giving you a chance to fully express your point and jumping on under the underlying points that you're making or implication of drawing. That's my bad, and I apologize for that.
Okay, cool. So moving forward, I don't think that we should just be allowed to say whatever stuff that we want and just continue on and make like 9 different points. So let's try and stop each other when we feel like a point is made. And when we stop each other, let's synthesize what the point is, then agree that there's a point made, and then have a discussion as to that point. Because otherwise I'm going to keep talking for 9 minutes, lay out 9 different points, and then you're going to have to go through each one, and we're going to have a back and forth. Okay, so let's let's start with this. I'll lay out what I believe to be one point here. I do not believe you crediting Republicans as doing personal on-the-ground work is sufficient when talking about care for people, care for children, life after birth, or excuse me, they're caring for their life after birth. And the reason why is because I am talking about legislation. I'm talking about not individual action, because we could always appeal to it that way. Every single person supports everything. Every group supports everything with that line of logic, because I can find one person or even a group of people that support anything, right? I could find, Christians that hate gay marriage, love whatever I want. If I want to appeal to a certain group of people volunteering that also share a category. So I would instead appeal to the idea that there are Republicans actively trying to demonetize and disenfranchise Planned Parenthood as an example of Republicans obscuring actively the ability for women and children to get proper health care and medical care when it comes to life pre and after birth. What would be your response to that?
I think you're intentionally limiting this to successfully passing legislation because it gives you a rhetorical talking point, and that's all it is. It's not an effective talking point, even because when we look at Republicans attempting to expand child tax credit, we look at Republicans but introducing legislation like those examples that I provided, whether or not they get passed or not, but that they are introducing these things. This doesn't demonstrate sufficiently that Republicans don't care, as you say, or are not trying to do anything about taking care of children once they're born. Okay, and so it's your rhetorical point just doesn't work. It fails because we see Republicans in politics, both at the federal level and at the state level, proposing legislation. Right? We see them trying to expand existing law. We see them working on regulations, for example, like FEMLA, trying to expand it to smaller businesses that have less than 50 employees. So again, it fails even as a rhetorical point, but that's all it is. It's a rhetorical point based on a false narrative. So meanwhile, is it not possible, though, really, that
Well, hold on. Okay,
Republicans could think? Go ahead.
Okay, so I want to respond to that because we have a difference here. Because you've targeted and isolated a problem that we are having. I agree with the sentiment of your idea that there could be a desire amongst Republicans to do something about child tax credits or giving support to life after birth. There could be. The problem is this doesn't manifest. And I am personally very unsympathetic to people that have arguments about, well, they're trying or they're in essence or this. I don't care. They're politicians. They're meant to get things done. They're not meant to show how woke they are. This is one of the primary disagreements I have, even though I'm on the left, with AOC, was especially at the beginning of her political career, was very much focused on trying to pass very ideologically bold things that never actually got done. Right? I'm not saying she didn't believe in the things she was advocating for. What I'm saying is the things that she was advocating for never got done because she wasn't playing ball. Why would I care about Republicans saying that they want child tax credits if it never actually gets done? But when Democrats talk about these things, they seem to, not always, and not frequently, especially recently, but sometimes absolutely get it done. They put it up on a higher priority, they get the practical into effect, and they actually get it done in comparison to Republicans. I care about what happens, not what people say they do, but what people do. I care about actions. Your
Okay,
response?
so first, I think it's a nonsense argument to make that, let's see how to best word this. I think it's nonsensical to argue that you can only care about children after birth if you follow, adhere to, align with, or otherwise support a democratic political platform or a set of political ideas, concepts, or even the laws that they propose. Okay, whether or not children are deserving of state protection, right, is a question that doesn't matter whether or not you align yourself with democratic proposed laws.
Okay,
right?
so I just need to
Or
interject
their
quickly.
vision.
I agree that if you're a Republican, I'm not saying you instantly no longer that's what I agreed with at the beginning of my statement. You could be a Republican that genuinely wants the betterment for children, for children's lives and things like that. I could make two different appeals. One, that you're too ignorant to understand how that would actually go when it comes to making abortion illegal, or I can make two, maybe that you are genuinely for child tax credits, for providing maternity leave and things like that. You are actually materially for those things, and you are a Republican otherwise, and you identify as a Republican. I can identify that, but when I'm talking about what Republicans have done, I'm isolating specifically politicians. It was the first question I asked you, what have Republicans done to help life after birth? That's what I'm looking for, not what they might have wanted to do.
Done.